So I've come with Balad, my guide, to the Isle of Sohel, climbed up this mountain, saw a lot of inscriptions along the way, have this beautiful view overlooking a curve in the Nile. This was the first cataract. The god Khnum, associated with Khufu, who built the Great Pyramid, the god Khnum was one of the trinity of gods. He was probably the chief. He was the ram-headed god, and he protected the first cataract. He was a potter. He created the human form, so he's the creator. And I think Khufu, if you follow me, I think was like Akhenaten, who was well known as a monotheist. I think Khufu became a monotheist. Read Herodotus. And so anyways, we're where the god Khnum was the ruler. And so here you've got Pharaoh Zoser from the 3rd dynasty. Okay, Pharaoh Zoser. His Imhotep was his vizier was Imhotep. And so here's the 3 gods. So here's the ram-headed god right here. So this is Khnum. And so Zoser is making an offering to Khnum and to this trinity of gods here. Now it's interesting, the Famine Stele seemed to be carved on a split rock. I don't think this split after they put the inscription here. I think they put the inscription on a split rock, and I think that is symbolic. That in the nature and the providence of things, that became symbolic, because there's so many things in ancient Egypt, and theology and archaeology, there's divisions. And so they're pretty split evenly about the interpretations of what's called the Famine Stele. It's called the Famine Stele because it talks about 7 years of famine that took place during Pharaoh Zoser's reign. Well, some people say there's a connection between Zoser's vizier, his prime minister, Imhotep, and Joseph. There are many similarities between Imhotep and Joseph. Imhotep was one of 12 children. Joseph was one of 12 children. They were both skilled architects. They were both skilled at interpreting dreams. They were both skilled at pharmacology. You know, they knew how to do herbs and stuff. They knew how to have potions for healing. They could interpret dreams. And so some people think you can connect the biblical and the Egyptian chronology in a way that makes that fit, that makes the time of Joseph fit the time of Zoser. Now, Egyptology, of course, will never relinquish that idea, but there's a growing group of people that are reconstructionists of the chronology. Again, we're talking about a division here. So the haters can weigh in and say, yeah, but yeah, I understand there's a different side to this. You don't have to hate on me. Just go follow your side or whatever. But so I think this is an archaeological evidence that at least, you know, suggests the possibility beyond just those that are already made between the similarities between Joseph and Imhotep, the vizier, the prime minister of Pharaoh Zoser. And if that is true, okay, so haters, you can leave now, but if it's a possibility that Joseph was Imhotep, Imhotep's grave's never been found. Oh, guess what? The Bible says Joseph, you know, his bones were carried back to Egypt. They've looked for it. Zahiwas would like to find, you know, the tomb of Imhotep. It's never been found. Here's what it would help explain, if you can make that connection. And again, I think that see Tim Mahoney's movies, the filmmakers' movies have shown all over America in theaters. Patterns of Evidence. He interviews leading Egyptologists on both sides of the question. He's got the people at Harvard saying no, and he's got some other people saying yes. Watch his stuff. So here's what it explains for me. You know, I've just come from Dashur and Giza, and the largest stone building project in the history of the world is there. Sneferu, the father of Khufu, laid more stones than anyone else in the history of the world by building the red and the bent pyramids. Then his son, Khufu, builds the Great Pyramid, more stones than any other true pyramid in the world. So that father-son combination is responsible for more building of stone than any time in history. Here's the thing I've never heard explained from the Egyptologists. How did they pay for that? Where did all the money come for the beef and the beer and the bread and the factories and the workers? Having a state treasury so big that it could pay that, because generally speaking, the administrations of Egyptian pharaohs were small. We often think they're centralized because the Pharaoh's so powerful. They must have had a centralized administration like America. You know, we got the FDA, tells you what can be in your cereal, tells you what you can eat, how fast you can go on highways, all this. We have a centralized bureaucracy, but Egyptians didn't have that. The appearance of that came because the Pharaoh was powerful. But they did have something like that in the 4th dynasty. So where did the wealth for all that had to come to place for the Great Pyramid, where did that wealth come from? All of a sudden we got this aboriginal pre-dynastic people, these half-ape people, and then and all of a sudden, boom, the Great Pyramid. That takes a tremendous amount of money to build the Hoover Dam. Where does that come from? Well, America was wealthy. It's got a lot of taxes. Here's where it came from. If this connection is true, the Bible story says that there were 7 years of famine. Joseph knew it because of a dream he got from God. He told the Pharaoh believed him. And so all the world during the 7 years of famine, because they had stored up during the 7 good years, all the world, after they had taken all the wealth of Egypt, because the Bible says first, they gave their money, then they gave their land to Joseph. So a socialist state under the biblical Joseph, the state owned everything. And then the rest of the world came for grain. And so the treasury that was amassed because of a wise man believing in God that there would be 7 years of plenty and then get ready for the 7 years of famine, that's where the money came from for that massive building program. And that's the only explanation I've heard. Now, I'd like to see what Egyptologists say, because you know what? In all the reading I've done about Old Kingdom, I've never had anybody explain to me. I should have asked Mark Lehner this when I was with him, because he is the master at doing research on who these workers were. Any of you that believe it was aliens and Atlantans, you haven't looked at the work of Mark Lehner, because he found the breweries, he found the bakeries. Human beings that were Egyptians built the Great Pyramids. Sorry, the evidence is there. Those are real cartouches of the workers up in the relieving chambers. Graham Hancock, John Anthony West, Robert Boyle, they all admitted it. The current book that tries to debunk it doesn't. Don't get hoodwinked. So, there's a division. I've talked about it. I laid some cards on the table. If you're a searcher, like I am, stay with me. Thanks for watching. I think so. Let me see.